What's up guys, I'm Shane Peterson and thanks for tuning in to this episode of Off the Rip. Let's talk about Hangtown. Two big performances from two riders, that's Chase Sexton in the 450 class and Haiden Deegan in the 250 class. Big points loss for Jett Lawrence when he crashed out in Moto 1. So the question is, might be too early to be asking, but can Chase Sexton pull off this championship in the 450 class? I don't know, I guess we're gonna find out, but let's get into this episode of Off the Rip. Since it's all over social media already, let's just start with the wildest moment from Hangtown. Jett going down in Moto 1, he tried to triple the downhill section, but instead comes up short and it cost him big time. Haiden Deegan went full metal militia mode. He hit a kicker, goes flying off his bike like a helicopter. In the first moto of the 250 class, several riders slammed hard going into the first corner. Unfortunately, a Bar X Suzuki mechanic took a nasty hit when a rider jumped off the track, landing into him. And then lastly, Chase Sexton's wild comeback ride from 40th place to first. Insane ride for him. It was awesome to watch, seeing him get bucked and kicked and nothing phasing him. The passes he was making, it was wild, it was cool. So those were some of the wild moments from Hangtown. All right, moving on to some fantasy picks. That didn't go as planned for a lot of the people that play Rocky Mountain Fantasy. I had Jett Lawrence for the win, and he was far from it. So my picks for Jett Lawrence, Chase Sexton, Hunter Lawrence, Justin Cooper, and Jason Anderson. 14th place, I put Harry Kulas. Ended up getting 4th place and 5th place correct. So I ended up scoring 55 points. Super close to getting that wild card pick. Again, I was just one spot away. Harry Kulas ended up getting 13th instead of 14th. So those are my picks. All right, so let's get into this 250 class. To start off, qualifying, the rookie Casey Cochran makes a splash, does it big, goes P1. And then to move on to the racing, Haiden Deegan, that first moto made a statement coming from 7th place to 1st. Just showed that he is definitely the fastest rider. Has to give him a lot of confidence by doing what he did. He's riding super good, but he does have his work cut out for him since Vial and Kitchen are right there. Tom Vial was able to turn it around in Moto 2 for himself. He did say that he was not comfortable on the bike and he wasn't able to get in his rhythm.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed off after the first moto, to be honest. I was struggling with the bike. I couldn't keep my rhythm, so we kind of changed a lot the shock a little bit for the second moto, and I felt great.
So he ended up changing his shock for Moto 2. It looked like it worked for him. It looks like he's happy with that shock. With this shock change, it's going to be interesting to see what the two-time MXGP champ can do these next 18 races. Kitchen didn't have the speed that we maybe saw at Fox. He was 13th in qualifying, but whenever it was race time, it seemed like he stepped up, did what he had to do. Seemed like a lot of riders might have been uncomfortable on their bike, so maybe Kitchen was feeling that as well, or maybe it just wasn't his track. I'm sure Levi Kitchen is stoked for this next race, which is Thunder Valley. It's a rutted track. He rides really well at the rutted tracks. Last year, he ended up finishing 3rd place behind Hunter Lawrence and Justin Cooper. Those two are no longer in the class. They moved up to the 450 class, so if he can put on another good performance like he did last year, I think a win is in the pantry for Kitchen. All right, so moving on to the 450 class. Biggest thing to come out of Hangtown was Jett going down that first moto, crashing out. Not a typical mistake we see from Jett Lawrence. Several riders did say that they shaved off that face that he was trying to triple off of. so maybe he just didn't judge it correctly. But anyway, he ended up coming up super short, and like I said before, it cost him big time, meaning he didn't score any points that moto. So now he's 24 points behind Chase Sexton. Not to worry, I think Jett's gonna close that gap. I mean, he went undefeated last season, so it's only a matter of time till he closes the gap. But we have not seen Jett Lawrence in this position of chasing a points leader, never chasing Chase. So that's a first time, or first scenario that we're gonna have. But also, to talk about Chase Sexton, the way he's riding, the way he rode last weekend at Paula, I think Jett might be chasing Chase on the track, which is crazy to think because this phenom that we've been watching is supposed to go, you know, undefeated. We're thinking he might go undefeated again this season. Yeah, it was early to tell, but man, I don't know. The way Chase rode, you gotta think he has a lot of confidence going forward. He has a big cushion for this championship, 24 points. Jett can do it. I think just for a fan's perspective, just to watch Jett try to get around Chase or try to run down Chase with speed like what he just showed is gonna be awesome to watch. Hopefully he can find that every single race, but I don't know, maybe he's on a sick one and he's just carrying this crazy speed throughout the entire season, or maybe it was just one of those races that it just clicked. But either way, I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of speed out of Chase Sexton this season. Not to leave out Hunter Lawrence, who's now second in the points. He mentioned that his shock was bad as well. He sucked going down the downhills.
Normally downhills are kind of been a bit of a strength over our whole career, and we kind of sucked on them today, to be honest. So
I'm curious to see how the Lawrence brothers are going to do next weekend in Thunder Valley. Both have made it pretty clear that their suspension is not where they want it to be. Jett said it after Fox, said that the whole team spent the entire week just working on suspension. But yeah, we'll see what happens, see if they can rebound or regroup for Thunder Valley, especially Jett, or will Chase get another win, or will somebody else step up and get a win. But anyway, I'm excited for Thunder Valley next week, and I'll be here on Off the Rip to talk about it with you guys. Peace.